I am so excited to give you a recipe for an amazing homemade pie. Beautiful crumbly pastry, chicken, sweet leeks, creamy sauce. This is gonna be amazing. It starts here with a chicken. So a nice free-range chicken. What I wanna do first is cut it in half. Just hold the chicken, get the tip, cut down the back, and then down the breast. So in a pan, we'll have just a tiny bit of oil. So chicken goes into the pan. I'm using the whole chicken. You get maximum flavour from the bones and the bone marrow, but also the joy of white meat, brown meat, and the sweet meat is incredible. So we got a second pan on a medium heat, and what I want to do is start frying off a beautiful base to give you the best pie filling ever. For that, I'm going to start with some smoky bacon. Just cut ourselves some little lardons. So into the pan we go, add a little oil, and that is an incredible welcoming party for vegetables and herbs. So we'll start off with thyme, to rip that in, and then base vegetables. 1 heart of celery, 1 onion, 1 carrot, and 1 leek. Roughly sliced into sort of 1.5 centimetre dice. Into the pan. I don't want the veg so small that it's going to disappear. I want to have chunks of veggies. So about 10-15 minutes of gentle frying. So that gives us time to clean down and make the pastry. Add 500 grams of plain flour to a bowl, a pinch of sea salt, and 250 grams of very cold butter. So by grating the butter like that, it just makes it so easy to rub into the flour. Pour in 100 millilitres of cold water and bring it together. And kind of hug it. No kneading, just hugging. That's what we want. And I'm gonna just form it into 2 balls. Divide so it's 1/3 for the lid and 2/3 for the base. Wrap them up and flatten out and leave to chill in the fridge until needed. If you look in here now, we have a nice bit of colour. That means we've got mega flavour already. I want to turn this into a beautiful sauce to stew that chicken, right? To pull out all that flavour. I'm going to use Scrumpy, beautiful cloudy cider. Just a nice little swig goes in. The smell is phenomenal. And we want to cook all of that cider away. Go in with a heaped teaspoon of English mustard, 2 heaped tablespoons of plain flour, a litre of chicken stock, and bring to a simmer. At this point in the story, we've created that stewing environment, and we're taking that lovely, crispy golden chicken, and those bones are straight down into that sauce. So lid on top, and just let it blip away for around about an hour until the thigh meat pulls off the bone, and that will be incredible. This fat in the pan, by the way, I'm going to keep that for a little secret later. So the chicken is done. If I just pull the thigh meat, and it should just fall off the bone. That's what we want. Super tender, super delicious, happy days. Oh. So, meat into here. I have been slicing up 500 grams of button mushrooms. By putting the mushrooms in at this stage, you get really sweet, nutty mushroom flavour. Oh, stir that through. OK, so now 2 forks and just pull that tender meat from the bone. At this point, the bones have done their job. They've given you awesome flavour. Carefully remove all the bones, add the chunks of chicken back to the stew, and mix through 2 tablespoons of creme fraiche. So I want this stew to do 2 things. Give me amazing, perfect filling, and then also an incredible sauce. And we can have both by one easy little trick that I love. Get yourself a pan, get yourself a colander, and sieve that filling. The sauce will go through it, and you can reheat that later to pour on top of your pie. Put that to one side, and now we can make our pie. So we'll get our pastry out of the fridge, and we'll roll this out so it's gonna line this beautiful pie dish. What I will do is just give a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of the dish and give it a rub. Put your chilled pastry in between a sheet of greaseproof paper and roll it till it's 1/2 centimetre thick. Add to the pie dish, pour in the cooled filling, and roll out your pie lid. I don't care if it cracks. I embrace it. Look, I'm gonna tear it. Oh no, there's a crack. It doesn't matter. We're gonna just tear it up and put it in just like that. And as we take in the sides, we're gonna create just a beautiful rustic pie. So just a little egg wash, So I'm gonna cook that now for about an hour, put it at the bottom of the oven. The temperature will be 190 degrees Celsius, which is 375 Fahrenheit, and that will be a thing of beauty. So that glorious pie is nearly done. And I've just knocked up a bit of mashed potato. You guys know how to do that, but what you might not know how to do is make cabbage beautiful. We're gonna do something that's quick and delicious and amazing. Roughly slice up the cabbage and add to the chicken fat you saved earlier. Cook over a high heat until softened and lightly charred. Add a splash of water, a teaspoon of mustard, and a pinch of salt and white pepper. These three things bring out the most wonderful flavour. Just takes your everyday cabbage to another place. So cabbage is done. Our gravy is bubbling away and reheating nicely. And then, yes, that, my friends, is what I wanted. Look at that. Bubbling, blipping, look. Just so, so good. The hispy cabbage that is soft and succulent, but it's got the char. Good old mashed potato, always a good friend of a pie. Then we'll get a gravy boat. This poured over the top of your pie will be a joyful thing. Oh, look how flaky that pastry is. I'm very excited. Come on. Look at that, we've got the chunks of chicken, the flaky pastry. That is a slice of heaven. Let's have a dunk, mash, some of that amazing cabbage done good, and then gravy. Let's get in there. Hallelujah. You know, using the whole chicken gives you the hyper flavour. Everyone deserves to enjoy a good homemade pie. Guys, what are you waiting for? OK, time to make the nation's favourite, chicken curry. But this is no ordinary chicken curry. This is Gurkha chicken curry. We're going to make it from scratch, start to finish, no cheats, no sauces, no pastes, and you're going to love it. Ditch the takeaway this weekend, guys, because this Nepalese curry is fresher, healthier, but even tastier than your average Indian. Marinated chicken in spices and yogurt, so tender it falls off the bone, all wrapped up in a flavour-packed sauce that just keeps delivering. Served up with fluffy rice and a naan, happiness guaranteed. A better curry than you could buy. Cheaper, more delicious, and a homage to the Gurkhas. First things first, let's talk chicken. We are going to marinate the chicken. Now, chicken thighs are the most economical part of the chicken. Chicken breast is great, but don't be fooled. The flavour is in the legs, and the flavour from the bones goes into the sauce. You're getting like triple pleasure. There are 3 stages to this curry: a marinade, a sauce, and a bake. Stage 1, the marinade. Pan on, and we're going to toast some spices. A teaspoon of fennel seeds, unbelievable spice. 5 little cardamom pods. They're tiny, right? But they're amazing in flavour. I'm going to put a bulb of garlic in as well. Then a thumb-sized piece of ginger. Scrape the ginger, roughly slice, add to the pan, and gently toast everything. So look, just heat these through for 1 minute. I'm not trying to cook it or anything like that. We're just waking up the flavours of the spices and also just warming up the garlic and ginger because we're going to pound it now. So into the pestle and mortar with a teaspoon of chilli powder. Now, I don't want this curry to be overly hot. It's going to have a nice hum of heat there. And if you want to pep it up, you can do that with fresh chilies later on, no problem at all. Just give it a good old pound. You don't have to go super fine, just do it for like 45 seconds and then stir that onto your chicken, OK? Top with 250 ml of good natural yogurt, a pinch of salt, and the zest and juice of 1 lemon. One final stir. Try and marinate it for at least an hour, but ideally, honestly, overnight. Flavour goes right down to the bone. Unbelievable. So this has been marinating overnight, OK? And what I'm going to do is start the curry. Stage 2, the sauce. So into a pan of hot oil with a stick of cinnamon, 4 or 5 whole cloves, a teaspoon of cumin seeds, and 3 or 4 bay leaves. At the same time, we're going to go in with that marinated chicken. And let's get one side of colour on the chicken. And the yoghurt will almost kind of create like a crust. So you're going to get a slightly tandoori vibe going on, which we like. Next up, a tablespoon each of ground coriander and turmeric, 1 finely sliced onion, 4 or 5 ripe tomatoes, and a couple of handfuls of chopped potatoes. And of course, what happens in the potatoes is it kind of cooks in the broth and the sauce. It sucks all that up, and it's going to get brown in the oven from above. It's going to be super nice. So let's have a look. I want a bit of colour on this chicken. Let's have a little look what we got. That's what I want. See that char mark? Oh, it smells so good. Finely chop the coriander stalks and add to the pan, keeping the leaves for later. Cover with water and you're ready for stage 3, the bake. Now you don't have to do that, but in the oven it just amplifies that sort of charring of the chicken. Leave it for an hour at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit and you can just put your feet up. Have a look in here. Ah, come on. You've got char from the yogurt on the chicken. I've got a few naans here, rice. Happy days. I love to serve it up on a bed of brown rice and top with a good dollop of natural yogurt, yet more fragrant sauce, and finish with the fresh coriander leaves. Then just tuck in. Look how it just falls apart. Textures and layers of flavour, phenomenal. It's just one of the nicest curries. The chicken is just so good. If you wanted to make it vegetarian, just roast some squash, some sweet potato, get some chickpeas in there. Amazing. Charred, tender chicken, crammed with flavour, and soft, sweet veggies, all wrapped in that fresh and fragrant spicy sauce. This is a feast worth waiting for. Everyone needs to try gurkha curry. And the guys at the cafe, they're gonna go wild. Everyone loves a slow-cooked Sunday roast, but who would have thought you could have a feast this impressive during the week? Golden chicken with rosemary and lovely crispy bacon, crunchy potato gratin flavoured with onions, parmesan and just a little bit of cream. All served on a bed of fresh baby leeks, spinach and peas. This is an amazing meal for 4, and if you do what I do, yes, you can do it in under 15 minutes. First of all, get your 15-minute meals head on, kettle on, pans out. Our little saviour today is the food processor on a fine slicer. We're using a nice Maris Piper, mid-size, so it goes through the food processor really easily. So plop the potatoes in, keeping the pressure on, and they'll slice beautifully in about 10 seconds. In a matter of seconds, wafer thin, really, really nice, and that's what we want. So get this in and top it up with boiling water from the kettle. And that'll be boiling and cooking straight away. Give it a season of salt, lid on top. We'll cook that for about 4 minutes just to take the rawness out of the potatoes. In that time, get yourself 2 or 3 nice mid-sized white onions. Just get the tip of the knife under the skin and just pull it like that. If your onions are big, just use 2 of them. So in with the onions. Rattle those through. Okay. So now, notice I've got a tray on here. We're going to go into this tray with a little bit of olive oil, just a couple of tablespoons. And I'm going to use half a little cube of organic chicken stock cube. That's going to act as a seasoning and also just get that chicken flavour really going. And we're going to start frying these off to go nice and sweet. A small pinch of salt and pepper. Give it a good old stir. And then herb-wise, I'm going to use sage, sage and onion stuffing, nice sort of old-fashioned, homey flavours. Oh, they're so good. So I'm just going to rip these in. You can chop them up if you want. And if the stalks are tender, you can use those, no problem at all. Just rip them up. That little stock cube has sort of disintegrated and just become part of the kind of flavour and the seasoning, which is great. I'm trying to avoid crying at the moment. Onions always do it to me. My midweek Sunday lunch vibe is coming together nice. The onions will take just a few minutes to go sweet and caramelly. The spuds are almost done, and now I can get on with my golden chicken. So what I want to do is create some nice basic flavour. OK, so get your greaseproof paper out. I've got 4 nice chicken breasts. So in with some salt and pepper. And then I'm going to use rosemary with the chicken because I want to kind of define the flavours. I want the potatoes to be nice and sagey. I want the chicken to be nice and rosemary. So as I'm looking over, I'm seeing the pan here with the onions. You know, it's on full whack. You know, it's starting to catch a little bit. It's like, you know, because onions have got, you know, lots of natural sugars in. So they will burn and catch really quickly. And a little splash of water is no bad thing. And straight away you'll see, can you see the colour just coming from the caramelising of the onions? Look at that. You control that. You're in control. Back to this chicken here. So lay the chicken out to one side. You want it all to be evenly sort of seasoned and got the rosemary on it like that. Then put the greaseproof paper over the top like that. Then just get anything flat and heavy, let's say a rolling pin, and give it a nice little bash. Just giving it nice, positive taps. Because it's going to pound the seasoning and the rosemary into the chicken. Look at that. There you go. We'll add a little bit of olive oil to a hot pan. Just a tablespoon. And we'll go in rosemary side down into that pan. The breasts need about 4 minutes on each side. Now, normally with a gratin, the spuds are oven cooked low and slow, but by parboiling them, the potatoes are much softer and ready to soak up all of those lovely flavours. They're actually cooked already, right? They're starting to fall apart. That's no bad thing. Now we're going to throw them in with these beautiful onions. If you look back in the onion pan now, we've got colour, and of course we've created some nice sweetness in the pan. So we're going to throw the potatoes in. And again, I love keeping the skin on. Much more rustic and delicious. So it's going to start catching in a minute, but that's fine, because we'll have it in the oven before you can say pomme dauphinoise. So, mix that up. Oh, it's kind of got the smell of French onion soup, which I absolutely love. Lay it out in one layer, and you could bake it off like that. I want to make it a bit more indulgent. But we're being clever about how we use the kind of naughty but nice things. This recipe is less heavy than most, and it's still full of flavour. There's a suggestion of cream right where you want it on top, instead of just drenching it. So add just 100 millilitres of single cream. That's plenty. About 30 grams of Parmesan. Just give it a nice dusting over the surface. The great thing about Parmesan for me is actually a little goes a long way. And I almost treat it like a seasoning. And we don't need loads of cheese, just enough to sort of coat the very, very top. And it's going to go golden. 30 grams. Happy days. For me, a great gratin is all about soft, creamy potatoes with a really crispy top. So 5 minutes under the grill is superb, which leaves me enough time to get back to the chicken. Look at that. Really, really nice. You can see, like, the pink stuff is representing the raw, the white is the cooked. So you can almost see it cooking. You're starting to understand how long meat really takes to cook. So chicken is 3/4 there. Gratin is now going into kind of crispy and golden mode. And now, in the same pot that we did the potatoes in, we're going to make a lovely little veg dish. Dead simple. I'm going to start off with leeks. So over here, we've got my leek. Just going to take the ends off of the leek and then simply, you know, just slice up the leek. Little bit of olive oil goes in. We go straight in with some leek. And because it's high-sided, they'll be sort of steaming on the top as well. This chicken's basically done now, but I want to sort of just put an edge on it with 2 lovely, humble rashers of smoky British bacon. Gorgeous. Cut it into little lardons, and that will start going crispy straight away, which will be lovely, and it will work so well with the rosemary. Just sprinkle them around the pan, give it a good old shake, and of course, when that bacon starts to cook, it's going to really, really start doing some amazing flavours. So in with these leeks, I'm going to put in a bag of spinach, 200 grams, already washed, goes straight in, no mucking around. So that'll start wilting down in a matter of seconds. Love that. Spinach takes no time at all. So 200 grams of lovely sweet peas. Again, they just need to be cooked for a couple of minutes. Really green, really juicy, sweet and poppy. Can you see how this spinach is cooking down? It's literally just going ooh as we talk. That's pretty much going. And then in the oven, it's looking good. I'm not going to show you what it looks like. I'm just going to start plating out now. The greens will make a lovely base for the chicken. So pile up your veg, sprinkle with the peas, and layer with the fragrant golden chicken breasts. The nice thing about kind of battering that chicken like that is the rosemary kind of cooks in to the chicken as well as the seasoning. So you know that that's going to taste good. And bacon and peas, very, very nice. So that's one part, very nice. Now, our gratin. Look at that. A wonderful potato gratin. Beautiful rosemary, bacon, chicken, spring greens. Gorgeous. Wouldn't say no to that. This is one mama of a plateful, all in just 15 minutes. I love the way that that rosemary just gets pounded into the chicken. Wow. The thing is, what do you expect me to say? Oh no, that crispy, smoky bacon chicken's terrible. Oof. Oh, and that lovely gratin, oh, it's disgusting, I can't believe it. How can you argue with it? It's proper. So good, a real simple dish, but you'd never think you could do that in 15 minutes. Yum. I love the Italian country cooking flavours of this dish. Based on a rustic stew, the golden chicken, earthy mushrooms and smoky pancetta combine in a wonderful rich tomato and red wine sauce, creating big, hearty, slow-cooked flavours in a fraction of the time. A bold sauce like this partners brilliantly with whole wheat pasta to create a delicious, balanced meal for four. Warm your cockles on this 15-minute twist on a great classic chicken cacciatore. Okay, cacciatore means the hunter. Okay, so it's the hunter stew. That's where the inspiration for this dish came from in my time in Tuscany, and I got cooked for by the hunters, and it was lovely. Classically, I'm doing chicken today because that's what people love. I've got chicken thighs, 4 of them. But they would have put anything they've caught or anything that was about, from pork to wild boar to hare, rabbit to pheasant, quail, you name it, it would have been in a hunter stew because it would have been whatever they would have caught. The one thing we haven't got is time. You know, one of the key parts of a cacciatore stew is hours and hours of blipping away. We haven't got that, so we've got to be clever and we want to bring those flavours together. So first up, I've got the chicken thighs sliced about 1 centimetre across, and then I'm going to do them about 1 centimetre across the other way. So we've got little chunks, okay? From that point, we're going to go a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, go into the pan. You can see it's hot. As per usual with 15-minute meals, we have got no time to wait for nothing. We've got pans on, we've got kettles on, so we're going to give that a good old stir straight away. Of course, with hot pans, it's like exciting cooking. You can hear everything going on. So let's mix that chicken up beautifully. I'm going to get rid of my chicken board and knife and wash my hands. And then we go on to the next bit of the story. Now, the next bit of the story is mushrooms. Come and have a look at these. Of course, in Italy, they would have had foraged, beautiful mushrooms, chanterelle, porcini, you know, it just depends on the time of year. I've got some standard mushrooms from the supermarket. I'm going to use 125 grams of oysters. Just put them in whole. Absolutely gorgeous. Then I've got some little chestnut mushrooms here. I'm just going to cut these into little quarters, so keep things quite chunky. Of course, mushrooms have incredible flavour, so to cook them with the chicken is going to be a pleasure. So stir in the mushrooms. The pan's on full whack. I think it's important actually at this stage to add a good pinch of salt and pepper because the mushrooms, they're going to start absorbing all of this. So at this point in time, just a couple of nice sprigs of rosemary. Just hold it at the top, pull down like that, and take the little top bits off. Look at that, it's alive. Already fantastic flavours on the go, and now a few shortcuts to create delicious depth and hearty rustic taste. Anchovies are a beautiful thing. Just 2 fillets. These 2 little bad boys here, in there, will just melt away, and it'll be like a little kind of stock cube gone in, or a turbocharger flavour. So, we're looking good here. Next to the story, let's add some sweetness. There's a couple of key ingredients. These are the sort of things that you can have in your larder. These peppers here, you only need 2 of them, have been lovingly roasted and peeled. They smell incredible. I'm just going to scrunch these in my hand, through my fingers like that. I'm then going to go into olives. So, pick out some of these olives. We don't need much, just about 8 olives will be more than enough. So now we're going to go in with some pancetta, just 4 rashers, and of course, this is smoky and meaty and gorgeous. Just centimetre slices. Let's mix that in. That sauce base can be left to caramelise and sizzle away while I get going with the pasta. We're going to use a whole wheat pasta, which is absolutely gorgeous. I know it sounds like the healthy option, which it is, and we're trying to do a little bit more of that in 15-minute meals because we want it to be everyday food and get some of the good stuff in there. We want to definitely season that water, make it fly in like that, and we'll put our lid on and let that crack on. OK, so the pasta's doing good. We've got this lovely, lovely bit of colour happening here. Couple of cloves of garlic. I'm going to use my garlic crusher. I'm not going to bother peeling it because it takes too much time. Just going to put it in. So we're going to get some lovely flavours straight in. Just crush that through like that. Stir that in. Then I want some chilli. And just slice this up. Get that in like that. And then add a lovely bit of Chianti. Now, just a swig of wine is all you need. Half a glass goes in. It'll take all the stickiness off the bottom. Can you see that? So you've got lovely flavour there. And then I'm going to put straight in, as soon as that's gone, go in with 1 jar of passata. That's 700 millilitres of lovely tomatoes. Give it a little shake, and that'll come to the boil, and we'll just chug that along. As soon as this beautiful pasta's ready, we'll start serving that. While the pasta's on and the sauce is blipping away, I can just kick back now and leave that gorgeous cacciatore to cook down and become deeper and richer by the minute. I'm going to prep a little bit of basil. This is because I've got a bit of time now to chill. That's coming to the boil. Pasta's a couple of minutes away. I pick the little leaves in the middle, right, for sprinkling on top to look pretty. And then these big ones I'm going to put in a pile to chuck in the sauce. Obviously pasta's fantastic for 15-minute meals. It really is, because it kind of, you put the pasta in and that's your timer there. You don't want to overcook pasta, so you've got to move on. At this point in this story, really it's about creating a kind of quite a crude sauce. I mean, obviously if you turned it right down and left it for an hour, you've got a completely different kind of sauce, more of a ragu. What we want is big flavour, very quick, that's delicious, and serve it in a way that you want to eat it when you come home from work at the end of the day. OK, let's just check the pasta. I can feel the pasta is nearly there. Let's have a little try of this sauce. It's boiling away nice and fast. Oh! And so it should taste good. It's got chilli, it's got all those beautiful pancetta, the chicken, the wine. Oh, that is good. We're going to rip in that basil and just stir that in. Absolutely gorgeous. And then I'm just going to grate a little Parmesan. You don't need loads, but it's really nice to have a bit of Parmesan with this dish. So about 40 grams will be lovely. I'm just going to put that in a little pile like this. But you can tell, look, that's just the end of the Parmesan like that. So by weight, nothing really. But these fine grater just does a beautiful job of making a little go a long way. OK, so let's get yourself a nice big old platter. Whack it on there. Once the spaghetti's ready, drain it and serve it fast. You can't hang around with pasta. The cacciatore is looking rich and dark red now. Gorgeous. Spoon it over the pasta and sprinkle over those delicate basil leaves and the grated Parmesan. A fabulous take on a hunter stew in just 15 sweet little minutes. Just give it a good old toss up. Look at that. It's rich, it's dark, so good. Beautiful. It's kind of the ultimate comfort food. It's like a big old hug. Well, you know what? The whole wheat pasta's really good with sauces that have got real oomph. Chili, red wine, tomatoes, olives, anchovies, all the bacon, the chicken. The whole wheat pasta's brilliant with that sort of stuff. So here, salute to the lovely Tuscan hunters. Thanks for the inspiration. Great. Now for a super fast taste sensation, crispy, garlicky chicken. It's a family favourite. The kids love it, the adults love it. The flavours in this dish come from free-range skinless chicken breasts, seeded wholemeal bread, garlic, lemon and peppery rocket. Oh, we're going to do crispy, garlicky breadcrumb chicken. It's an absolute favourite in our house. Let me show you how to do it. The first thing we have to do to make this beautiful dish is the breadcrumbs. And look, this dish is great with any bread. You know, rubbish white bread, brown bread, but if you upgrade to brown bread, you're getting way more fibre. You get way more flavour as well. And this one, you can see it's got rye in it, it's brown, it's got seeds, it's got way more character, way more complexity of flavour. The better the bread, the better this dish will be. So just get yourself a little handful like this. I'm going to whack it into a food processor. This bread's still a little soft, but if it was dry or completely stale, that's all cool. I'm going to go in with 1 or 2 cloves of garlic. Look, garlic bread, we know that we love it. So when you're actually making breadcrumbs with the garlic in it and it's cooking into the chicken, next level, next level. Peel the garlic cloves and chuck them into a blender with the bread. We're going to whiz it up. Look at this, guys. You can see, by upgrading the bread, it's got way more character. Oh, the smell. The smell is exceptional. So, the next job is pounding out the chicken. So classically, when you breadcrumb meats, you call it a pane. And that's a plate of flour, and then egg, and then breadcrumbs. It's kind of a bit more work, it's more washing up, it's definitely more mess, and it's perfect, it's really, really good. But I actually don't want that, right? I want a similar effect. I want mine to be a bit more gnarly, a bit more rugged, and actually quicker and easier. So, greaseproof paper, a little olive oil. Just rub that across the paper like that. Take your chicken breast, place it on one half, and then put the paper over like that, and then we're gonna have a little bash up. Use anything flat and heavy. So I'm using a rolling pin, you could use your fist, you could use the bottom of a flat pan. Flattening out the chicken breasts not only tenderises the meat, it makes them quicker to cook. Check it's the same thickness throughout, just so it cooks nice and evenly. There you go, look at that, beautiful. Now at this stage in the game, it gets interesting. Sprinkle the breadcrumbs on here, and then you can just put that on top, like that, and pound the breadcrumbs into the chicken. So it's not a coating, it becomes part of it. And then we turn it over, and we put breadcrumbs on the other side. It's quick, it's easy, less washing up, right? And it's gnarly, it's got attitude. So that is the first one done. Look at that. Oh, the smell is amazing. And we haven't even got cooking yet. This is ridiculous. Okay, so we are good to go. Put a pan onto a medium heat and add a splash of olive oil. And we're going to go straight in with the chicken and right into the corner. Look how big this is, guys. It's literally filling the whole pan. Just press it down so it's got full contact, right? You want it to be screaming hot, right? And then leave it for 3 minutes and then have a little peek. And we want it to be golden and crisp. What's nice is because it's imperfect, the breadcrumbs, they're not the same. You get little bits, dust and chunks, and that adds to the bite and the crunch and the experience. Let's have a little look. I'm too excited. Oh, come on, Eileen. Look at that. Yes. So we're going to cook that for just a couple more minutes. I want it crispy on the outside and juicy and not overcooked in the middle. To go with it, the fourth ingredient, lemon. So good. Lemon, garlic, lemon chicken, lemon breadcrumbs, it's all good. So a nice unwaxed lemon. To go with that, last ingredient, rocket. Gorgeous, peppery rocket. Season it. I'm gonna squeeze some lemon juice on it, make it really lemony. Gorgeous. I love the flavour of rocket. Take the chicken out of the pan once it's had 3 minutes on each side or until it's cooked through. So onto a board, let's put these amazing crispy bits of chicken. Season from a height. Look at that, it's a picture already. And of course you can take it to the table like that. But I quite like kind of just chopping it up into little chunks, big chunks or odd bits. It doesn't matter. And if you look into it, if you just splay it out and look into it, look how juicy that chicken is. It's moist. You can tell it's moist. Look at this, guys. Simple, clean, fresh, lemon juice and crispy breaded meat is so good. Come on, let's try a bit. Oh. One of life's great pleasures. If you look, it's the juiciness that's phenomenal. Really, really good. It's insanely good. It's insanely good. My delicious crispy garlicky chicken. A quick and easy favourite that all the family will love. First up, sticky kicking chicken wings. Hands down, the easiest, tastiest finger food you'll ever make. Chicken wings, I love them, and the way I'm gonna cook them is gonna give you that beautiful glazed, crispy but soft chicken wing. You'll need free-range chicken wings, teriyaki sauce, red chilies, spring onions, and sesame seeds. Sticky, melt-in-your-mouth chicken wings that are unctuous and full of flavour. Asian-inspired with teriyaki, spring onions, chilli, sesame seeds. Brilliant combination. Now, the way I'm going to do this is in a pan, and this method works every single time. And there's one rule. You need to have a pan that's snug-fitting for the amount of chicken wings that you're going to do. So I've got 8 regular chicken wings here, lovely free-range organic chicken wings. What we want to do is get them in one layer. So first up, I'm going to turn on the gas. I'm going to put a pan on, the right size for these chicken wings. I'm going to toast off some lovely sesame seeds into the pan, a couple of tablespoons, and we're just going to give them a little toast in the pan just to bring out the natural oils, to make them nice and crunchy and golden. So as soon as they're looking lightly golden, just shake them into a little dish. Pan back on the heat. We're going to go in one layer with our lovely chicken wings. And I'm just going to lay them face down. They'll start to fry. Just 1 minute on each side. I want to add a couple of chilies. I want to lose the seeds. I'm just going to cut the chilies in little strips like that. Get some colour on the chicken, then we go in with the chili, shake it around, and we're starting to blister the skin of the chilies just a little bit. And then we don't do that for very long because we're going to break the frying with adding the kind of key flavour, really, teriyaki. And it's quite an interesting product because, you know, it's fermented. It's got mirin in it, which is like a Japanese rice wine. We've got soya beans, garlic, seasoning. Packed full of tasty ingredients, teriyaki is a fast track to flavour. So we're going to put 4 tablespoons of teriyaki into this pan. So it's gone from frying to now boiling. We're going to go in with just enough boiling water to cover the chicken. And by the time it reduces to a glaze again and starts to fry again, you know the meat's tender and delicious. Brilliant. So leave this for 35 to 40 minutes, and then as you hear it change from boiling to sizzling, that's the sweet spot. That's the moment when you start to plate up and finish the dish. These chicken wings are so low maintenance. Simply leave them to do their thing, turning every now and again. The only job left is to finely slice some spring onions. So you can kind of hear that it's changing sound now. It's kind of spitting and splurting. And you see how it's just sticking to it now. Now it's glazing, completely changing. It's gone dark, it's starting to caramelise a little bit. And then what you can do is just add a little slug of red wine vinegar, just to clean the pan, to put that sourness on there. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. And then what we can do is just plate these up. That one's almost falling apart, so you know it's tender. Look at that. We can sprinkle that with some of those beautiful spring onions and the sesame seeds. You want that to stick to it. And then that last little bit of sticky juice over the top. And what is there to say? It's messy food. It's finger-licking, sticky, delicious, tender chicken wings. That's a lovely little plate of wings right there. These bad boys are brilliant for sharing. That meat is so tender and so delicious. The flavour, the glaze is intense, but it's sweet, it's sour, it's kind of like, it's got a bit of everything going on there. And then the little bit of sesame seed on the outside, they just pop because you've toasted them. They're really, really nice. Really naughty, delicious. And they're always messy, right? There's nothing you can do about that. I'm going to eat the rest in private. Have a go. Gorgeous, glossy, kicking chicken wings. Extremely easy and so good, they'll fly off the plate. Next, my sweet chicken surprise. An inspired one-pan wonder with a great hack for a stunning sauce. We're going to cook this so the skin is really crispy and the meat is melt in your mouth, but we're going to flavour it in the most beautiful way. Using fresh free-range chicken legs, seedless grapes, garlic, red vermouth, and fresh tarragon. So first of all, I just want to prep this up nice and simply. A little bit of olive oil over the chicken, and we're going to season with sea salt and some pepper. We're going to put a pan on a medium-high heat, and we just move this around, pat the oil on the skin. I want tender, juicy meat that just falls away from the bone, and lovely golden crisp skin. So once you've seasoned it up, place it skin side down into this pan that's starting to get nice and hot. Let's have a little wash of the hands. So we want to get some colour onto that chicken, give it a little bit of attitude, but I'm going to bring some flavours together that maybe you've never had with it, that I promise you, that I assure you are amazing. Really, really good. So we're going to use some grapes. Now, if you go to the supermarkets, they do those little mixed boxes, red ones, green ones. When these cook with the chicken, the flavours that happen are remarkable, absolutely delicious. Some people can be a bit funny about sweet and savoury, but then again, you know, all of the things that we really love are sort of a little bit sweet and sour, whether it's ketchups, whether it's sweet and sour dishes, whether it's having apple sauce with roast pork, right? This kind of fruit, this acidity and sort of lovely crispy skin, right, and Moorish meat. This is an absolutely fantastic match. So look, we got some colour happening on the chicken, and then I'm going to go in with the garlic now. Get yourself a nice bowl, put it here, and give it a slap, right? Just like that. Remove the cory part, and then just get these garlic cloves. Just give them a little crack. Just a tiny little crack is enough to perfume the fat that flavours the chicken, but also the natural paper that's around the garlic cloves will protect it. And in the cooking process, Those garlic cloves are going to get so sweet and so caramelised, it's going to be amazing. So what I want to do now is just pick myself a whole load of these grapes. As I eat this now, yeah, it tastes like a lovely grape, but when it cooks, it just completely transforms the flavour, and it's going to work so well with this chicken. Let it rain grapes. And now I want to break the frying process by adding something beautiful. Rosso vermouth. Enhanced with spices, herbs and flowers, red vermouth's instant depth of flavour is your shortcut to a stunning sauce. And then we're going to put it in the oven for about 40 minutes until golden and crisp and tender. The fruit's going to be amazing. And I cook that at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit. You can see, like, the skin is getting really crispy, it's dancing, and the sauce. This is what I love about this method. You get that lovely, thin, crispy skin. You can feel the meat is tender. And the grapes do the most amazing thing where they kind of blister and mix with the vermouth, which mixes with the flavour coming out of the chicken. And it's just a fantastic way of cooking it. Now, I've got one last ingredient to go, and that's the little surprise, tarragon. It's a really beautiful, fresh herb. And what I want to do is just pick the nice, delicate leaves here and put to one side, and then just strip these bigger leaves off like that. And it's got the most fantastic aniseedy flavour. It's going to work so well with the chicken because it's light and it's fresh, but also it's going to work really well with the vermouth. And then I just want to add this tarragon now to the juice here, and it's just going to wilt in. Let's take our chicken. Look how lovely and golden that is. And then here, with the tarragon, just mix it, and then I'm just going to place these gorgeous ingredients around the chicken, and then just put a few of those fresh pieces on top, and there you got a fantastic way to serve chicken. So let's get in there. The meat is beautifully cooked. Bit of grape action, bit of sauce action, and a bit of mouth action. The tarragon just links it all together. And the vermouth reduces down so nicely. And don't forget, the garlic. We put a load of garlic in there, and it's been protected by the skin. And when you squeeze that out, you've got these little kind of pearls of caramelised garlic, which are so good. I mean, the amount of flavour in this dish for 5 ingredients is phenomenal. It's a wonderful principle that is classy and has deep flavours and textures. Once you've tried it, you won't look back. Crispy skin, succulent meat, and a sweet, rich sauce. Inspired ingredients combined into a classy chicken dinner. Next up, my gnarly peanut chicken. The ultimate homemade satay, easy to prep, quick to cook, and totally delicious. This is a superbly simple, brilliant way to cook chicken, and I'm really excited about it. Using free-range chicken breasts, limes, garlic, crunchy peanut butter, and fresh red chilies. Here we have a great dish, which is 5 ingredients and just 15 minutes away from deliciousness. So, little pan on a medium-high heat. I'm going to show you a great little preparation for making the chicken take on flavour. So first up, get the knife and just lightly score into the breast about 1/2 centimetre, right? And do it about every centimetre like that, in a little kind of checkerboard. It's going to allow flavour in, right? Also, it's going to allow flavour to stick on. And it's going to allow heat in to cook it quicker. So you're getting bonus, bonus, bonus. Now, seasoning. Just a little bit of olive oil. I'm then going to hit it up with salt and pepper. Then I want to get some limes. It's so full of life and freshness and zing. Nothing going to waste. And the second one as well. See, those little scores you've made are really going to take on the flavour in the most fantastic way. So over they come and into a pan on a medium heat. Nothing in there at all. Let's go the scored side down. Beautiful. With the chicken cooking, there's just enough time to knock up a speedy satay-style sauce. The key ingredient here is chunky, quality peanut butter, and it's going to give you huge flavour. Huge, but we've got to work with it. We've got to lift it, right? And we're going kind of Asian in flavour. It's a little bit sort of satay-like. Get 2 heaped tablespoons and crank them up with the lime juice. 1.5 limes. Squeeze in the juice. We want to get it to that nice pourable consistency. right? So we need to use water to loosen it down. So normally just a couple of splashes will be enough. And we want to get it to this lovely kind of spoonable texture. And of course it's chunky peanut butter, so you've got those lovely chunks in there as well.
Time to supercharge it with 4 cloves of grated garlic.
So by grating the garlic, it's a completely different flavour to chopping it or slicing it. You get more heat from it and you get more bang for your buck. And in this sauce, it just seems to work beautifully well. So in with the garlic. Look at that. Come on. And then you choose between 1 or 2 chilies what you want to do. I think you know the answer from me. So the chilies go in, and then I'm going to mix this up like this. And then what I want to do is just flip over the chicken. Come and have a look at this. Gorgeous, look at that. You can see how all those little edges have taken on the colour. And then I'm just going to spoon over that amazing sauce to cover, completely cover the chicken breast.
This speedy sauce forms a genius crust that locks in moisture, keeping your chicken super succulent.
And I'm going to put that under the grill. Medium high, okay? The sauce is going to do weird and wonderful things.
5 to 6 minutes under the grill is all it takes. Get ready to tuck in.
Okay, so it's had 6 minutes. Look at that. It's just sizzling, dark, and definitely gnarly. It's a chicken dish with attitude. And just look at that. Really, really nice. And peanut butter has this sort of wonderfully strange reaction to heat. This is super delicate. Oh, so good. You got that fresh kind of satay vibe going on. I don't want to waste that because it's truly, truly beautiful. I'll take the lovely chicken breast, just kick it on like that.
Give it a final sprinkle of lime zest and a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil.
And the imagination should and can run wild. You know, do you have it with stir-fried rice? Do you have it with lovely noodles? In a salad, gnarly bits in salad, lovely mixed leaves, slice it up, toss it up. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dish. Right, let's eat some, come on. Let's get a fork, let's get an appropriately sized knife. Hit up a chili, come on, crispy bit. Oh, yes, my friend. Gnarly on the outside, but actually it's still quite lush on the inside. Say no more.
My gnarly peanut chicken, a supercharged spicy satay, minimum fuss with flavour to the max.
Right, I'm going to do a really delicious chicken tray bake. Dead simple. I'm using a thigh of chicken, by far tastier than boring dry old breasts. Loads of flavour as long as you cook it right. And I'm going to show you how to take the bone out. First of all, just run your knife down that bone, just like that. 1, 2, and then you can just pop your knife under here and just run it out like that. And then with this bit, scrape it almost off. Now you've got the bone off, throw that away, and then do nice double finger sized pieces. Just like that. So once you've got your chicken, pick it up, take it over here, put it straight into the pan, skin side down, and that will naturally start frying the fat out of the skin. Just season that chicken with just a little bit of salt now. You know, you need to cook with a little bit of seasoning. Give it a toss around. Lovely. Got some nice new potatoes there, and I've got some tomatoes. Now I'm going to do a potato and tomato sort of roasted tray bake really with the chicken. And I've got some beautiful little tomatoes. I've got some like long little plums, dark ones, red ones, sort of tiger ones, little sort of pear ones, you know, your typical sort of cherry ones. And all I like to do is just put these tomatoes here, like that, get myself a little knife. The only knife I've got is that one. So what I want to do is get a knife and just get the tomato and just pop it, just like that. And by tapping them like this, we're going to pop them in boiling water, and that little cut will make sure the skin just comes straight off, and that's easy, we like that. So, put them in here, into here, and my new potatoes are boiling and they're cooked. Pour my tomatoes in there, lid on. So once you've done that, I need my cloth. Let's give this chicken a nice little toss. Have a look in here. Nearly there. Sort of 45 seconds, that's literally all you need in boiling water with the tomatoes. Tomato skins look pretty good. Just drain it in a colander. Lovely, look at that. So, nice position to be in here. It's all steaming, really hot. That's going to steam dry now. So look, I'm going to get my tomato, and literally all you have to do is just pinch that skin off. It's so simple, and it doesn't give you any grief at all. And by taking it off, what you allow this to do is the tomato to dehydrate and become sort of like sweet and much more intensified, and for the flavour and sort of bit of the juice from the tomato to cook into the potato, which is going to be like rock and roll. I'm going to lay it out on this board here. All right, clean table. This is what I'm going to do. With my potatoes, I'm going to get my thumb and I'm going to just break them like that. Like that, crush them. You can push that in half, break that, break that, break that, break those. If you've got a little whole one like that, leave it whole, push that. I mean, you know, this is a little bit of a palaver, but it will take me 1 minute to do it, and you know what? The whole dish will taste 10 times better for it. And sometimes in cooking, you know what? It's not always bish bash bosh. You need to put a bit of love in it, a bit of care, and it will taste fantastic. Right, so that looks like I've made a right dog's dinner of that, doesn't it? Look at the table, it looks like a total mess. But you've got to bear with me and see what I'm going to do. I want to get my flavour shaker. You could use a food processor, you could use a pestle and mortar. Get oregano or marjoram. Of course you could use rosemary instead, but I think oregano and tomatoes, really good combo. Nice little handful into the flavour shaker. Nice pinch of salt. Lock it up. I want to smash the oregano. I want to get all the oils out of it, and I want to make the most butt-kicking flavoured oil. Because the thing is, when it comes to things like flavour, you can't sort of chop it up and be all nice about it. You have to bash it up. You have to make a bit of a noise. And all I have to do now, you can see that it's smashed up all of the herb. Really bruised it, really smashed it. And if you smell it, it's like incredible. So what I want to do to that is get some oil on that, extra virgin olive oil, top it up about 3/4, and then I'm going to put a little hit of vinegar in there. So, not quite as much as the dressing. Some pepper, and then close it up one last time, and this is going to make the most beautiful flavoured oil. Let's have a look in here. See that? So you've got like a beautiful green oil. Now, get our chicken, and you see in the chicken here, pull all of this into the pan, like this. That much. I'm going to get some more oregano to put in whole on top. And I want that lovely oregano oil. It's really nice to cook it in this, or, you know, if you want to serve it at the table, you know, you could pour it into a dish like this, and when that cooks together, that'll be one of the nicest dinners you've had in a long, long time. So that's done. Notice it's all in one layer, so it's all going to cook beautifully into one another. It's going to get lovely and golden, and the chicken's going to go sticky. That is a lovely dinner. I'll put that in the oven for about 35-40 minutes, 180, 200 degrees, until it's lovely and golden. Serve that with a green salad, bottle of wine. Happy days. Yay! Look at that. Just look at that. You know, in the middle of the table, on a dish. Look at that. Oh, come on, that's so nice. And this is the sort of food that I love, love, love to eat. Everything just mixing together. So nice. All I do to finish that is a little bit of lemon and oil on some rocket. Just a bit. Pinch of salt. And look at that. You can either do two things. You can either just get a nice handful and literally put it across the dish at the table like that. Brilliant little dinner. Or just have a big bowl separately and just serve that like that. Fan-dabby-dozy. I love it. I love that kind of cooking.
First up, chicken noodle stir fry. A fast food favourite that's quick to prep, crazy crunchy and insanely tasty.
Let's just kind of go back to basics. So it's a beautiful method with a lovely start, middle and end.
Using free-range chicken breasts, unsalted peanuts, black bean sauce, egg noodles and sprouting broccoli.
I think stir fries we've kind of messed up. Like we keep adding ingredients and actually, you know, you don't know when to stop. It kind of turns into a stew, not a stir fry. And let's just kind of take it back to 5 beautiful ingredients. I'm using a pan to start off with, and we're going to get that on a high heat. The idea is that it's very free-flowing, very hot cooking. First of all, let's talk about nuts. These are peanuts, unsalted. Get a little handful in there. We'll toast it, reawaken all the flavours. It will make all the difference. Right, second job. We have 2 beautiful free-range chicken breasts here. They're small ones. I'm going to use the knife to go from the fat end of the chicken breast about 1/2 centimetre down to the tip, like that. You can do it like 4 or 5 times if you like. And what you're doing is going to help it to cook quicker. Bonus. It's going to help it to embrace and suck up seasoning and flavour. Bonus. It's going to splay out and kind of create little burnt bits and crispiness. And then on the inside, juiciness and cleanness. And it's going to be an amazing contrast. Once you've done that, we're going to go chicken back to the plate. Let's have a hand wash. We're going to hit it up with some seasoning. Olive oil, just 1 tablespoon. And a little vinegar, then 1 tablespoon of black bean sauce. You know, the fermented black beans give the most incredible depth of flavour. So really move that around. And you can see all of those little cuts opening up and taking on that beautiful flavour. So the nuts are nicely toasted. I'm just going to put them there to cool down a little bit. And in a dry pan, we're going to add this lovely black bean chicken, and don't touch it. Leave it. Let's get rid of our chicken board. We're going to cook it for 3 minutes on each side. Charring, searing, scalding it. And then let's get on to the broccoli. Sprouting broccoli is such a wonderful thing. It's so good for you. What I want you to do is take off these little delicate bits and then with the chunkier bits, divide it with a knife. And what we're doing is we're sort of harmonising the cooking times. It's a really nice little tip. The spirit of a good stir fry is speed and keeping the life in your vegetables. That little bit of love, care and attention will just make it cook so much easier. We're going to turn the chicken now. Look at that. Yes, yes, yes. It looks kind of a bit burnt, and that's exactly how we want it. But on the inside, it'll just be juicy and perfect. We've got a pan of boiling water here, so we'll season this up. And we've got our traditional egg noodles, 150 grams. So that's 3 of these. 3 minutes until that chicken's cooked. That means we can absolutely throw in our noodles. Now, it's time to bash up my nuts. And I'm going to put these nuts in a pestle and mortar, and we're going to smash them up. I kind of want everything, really. I want to get it quite fine. I want to have little chunks, and I want to have whole chunks. So that's what it ends up looking like. Really, really nice.
With 2 minutes to go, pop the broccoli into your noodle pan.
And the chicken is pretty much ready to go. These can just rest for a second, and they look absolutely gorgeous. And what I'm going to do now is drag my broccoli and noodles into my pan here. There is little bits of burnt marinade and chicken juices in the pan, and we don't want to waste that. No, no, no. And 1 last tablespoon of the black bean sauce. Just enough to beautifully coat this. And don't be afraid to just give it a little splash of the cooking water and keep it loose. Right, and then take half of the nuts and put it over the top. And we're going to plate it up full of colour. It's a lovely, generous portion of noodles and your greens. Then we come back to this gorgeous chicken, and I want to slice it centimetre thick. You can really start to see then why we did that cross section. Really, really kind of gnarly bits, but then perfectly juicy, gorgeous chicken as well. And then we'll just place it on here like that. And then those last bits of nuts on top. We should have chopsticks really, but let's get amongst it. You got silky, silky noodles just kissed with that gorgeous black bean sauce, snappy sprouting broccoli, and you got chicken just cooked beautifully. It's kind of gnarly, caramelised, but also juicy and full of life, and the nuts just bring it all together in the most fabulous way.
Bursting with flavour and texture, a speedy stir-fry supper that's perfect to rustle up at the end of a busy day.
OK, guys, roast chicken. It's one of the most phenomenal, comforting, gorgeous meals, and we all love it. Why don't we learn to take it up to the next level?
I'm going to show you not one, but 2 ways to reinvent your Sunday roast. Mix it up and create something surprising this weekend. First, a show-off bird that demands your attention. Super tender with awesome finger-licking flavours. This is beer butt chicken.
Yes, beer in butt of chicken. Beautiful. This method of cooking chicken was kind of American-based. It was based around the barbecue, but also it's kind of cowboy, so ooh.
First, you need a dry rub, made with smoked paprika and cayenne pepper, then fennel seeds, coriander seeds, and just a touch of cumin. Finally, some dried chilies, brown sugar, salt and pepper, and whiz up.
Have a little taste. Rubs are always going to be super intense, but try and use your brain anyway. Am I getting sugar? Am I getting some lightness from the fennel seeds? Do I want more savouriness, you know, from oregano or coriander seeds and stuff like that? So you can kind of tweak it to your liking. I want to rub it with oil, getting all the cracks and crannies, and then in with the rub, but I want to get it to stick to every part of it. Create what the barbecue boys would call a bark, okay? Which means like a kind of layer of flavour. It's gonna kind of protect the chicken. It's also gonna absorb into the kind of frying, cooking, roasting fat. And it's also just gonna give that outside layer of chicken just a smash of flavour. This dish has got to have attitude.
Next, it's time to raise the bar with a rather unusual way of keeping our chicken lovely and moist.
The beer up the jacksie. Now, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time, and I'm referring to the chicken right now. OK, so I've got about 1 inch left in there, the most exciting bit. We find ourselves a roasting tray, we find ourselves an orifice, and then we ease it down.
That beer can is there for a reason. It will keep the chicken super moist and infuse it with a light beery flavour as it cooks in the oven at 200 degrees for 1 hour and 20 minutes. Baste it with good quality barbecue sauce 10 minutes before the end. While that cooks away, I want to show you another way to reinvent the roast with show-stopping bird number 2, chicken in crust.
Why? Why would you put chicken in a crust? To keep in all the flavour. So, really simple, couple of kilos of flour. This is like blowout. This is the weekend. This is taking it to the next level.
Mix up the basic pastry dough by adding water and a pinch of salt. This pastry crust is going to seal in the chicken, keeping it super juicy and tender. And when you serve it up, I guarantee it will look nothing like your guests have ever seen. Next, this is a weekend blowout feast, so I want to up the ante with an intense flavoured butter for my chicken. I'm pulling out all the stops, so I've got some gorgeous Girol mushrooms sizzling in some olive oil, butter and garlic.
You know, you can hit it up with some lovely kind of woody mushroom herbs. Thyme, gorgeous. Marjoram, lovely, right? I want to pump up the flavour with dried mushrooms, any dried mushrooms. Some are expensive, some are cheap. Here's some porcini. You just go straight over with some boiling water from a kettle, just cover it. The flavour that will come out of there is ridiculous. Notice that the dried mushrooms now are limp and soft, even in a matter of a minute. So go in with the dried mushroom. Look at the colour of that water, okay? It's like Bovril. This is serious stuff.
Leave those rich flavours to reduce and intensify. Time to prep the chicken.
I'm going to use a spatula, and we're going to get that under the skin. So grab this little piece of skin here. Use your finger to separate the skin from the breast meat. Once you've got a couple of fingers in there, go in with this spatula.
Once you've created the pockets under the skin, chop the cooked mushrooms with some chopped parsley and a teaspoon of truffle oil. Then simply squadge in a pack of butter.
This flavoured butter, just ridiculous. Get it into little holes, carefully push it down into the chicken. Look at that, you've got flavour going all down that breast there. That's serious flavour. Now we're ready to put it in pastry. You want it to be about 1 centimetre thick. Then just going to take a nice little cut at the top here. OK, so we've got 2 bits, a larger piece for the bottom into the tray.
Tie it up nice and tight so it will stay put once inside the pastry.
Now we're ready and raring to go. We're going to put that second bit of dough over the bird like this. Tuck her into bed. Then we can cut off the excess and we're ready to crimp it at the edge. We're keeping the humidity in, we're keeping the flavour in. It's all staying in. The whole theory of it is just amplifying flavour, and it's dramatic. And when you put that out on a Sunday roast table, everyone's going to go, what? What's that? Alien that's just landed on planet Earth?
Put in the oven for an hour and a half at 180 degrees Celsius. Now the beer butt chicken.
Here he is. Shiny, gorgeous, finger-licking good.
Roasted in all of those beautiful, awesome spices. That is mega flavour.
Just finish it with shredded spring onion, some coriander, a little bit of chilli, and that will be absolutely incredible.
Then the chicken in a crust.
It is something very, very special. Get in there, find the biggest knife you can find, get a cleaver, get a spade, right? Cut around the outside. Oh, chicken.
And when you slice into it, you'll see exactly what happens.
When have you ever seen chicken like that? Completely and utterly beautiful and tender and gorgeous. That lovely flavour under the skin. It's just ridiculoso. So guys, that's amazing chicken dishes that will blow your mind and completely reinvent the norm. I don't know what it is about a pie. I always just love a pie.
Using free-range chicken thighs, mushrooms, onions, fresh thyme, and all butter puff pastry.
Now come and have a look at this. This is really quick and easy. I'm using chicken thighs, about 600 grams, and I've got 2 pans on. I've got a large pan, medium pan. I'm gonna whack them on a nice medium-high heat. I'm gonna use 2 onions, and we wanna create a lot of flavour with just 5 ingredients. So we really gotta focus on caramelising the onions.
Chop your onions and cook them down to give your pie a sticky, sweet base.
So we go into a pan, full heat, with a little olive oil there, about a tablespoon. And we want the sweetness to really come out of these onions. And a little season at the beginning. Get those flavours really working. So it's always a good time to let out all your emotions when you're cutting onions, bless. They're strong ones. So look, chicken thighs, boneless, skin off. I've got 6 thighs here, guys. And I'm just gonna cut 4 of them into big chunks. And then the last 2, much finer. So we're gonna get a different kind of texture, kind of like coarse mince.
Cutting the chicken 2 ways creates texture, and makes the pie super luxurious.
So we've already got a nice little bit of colour happening on the onions. Take the pan to the chicken.
Simply saute your chicken and onions for 6 minutes. For this crazy quick pie, the pan goes straight into the oven to double up as a pie dish.
While that's happening, let's talk about mushrooms, because I absolutely love mushrooms. If you look around the supermarkets now, they have these little mixed packs of field and wild mushrooms, right? Just very simply cut those in half. And there's no rules to this at all. There's something that I love to do to put an extra bit of flavour into this. Now, when you dry grill or dry fry in a pan with nothing, it brings out this incredible nutty flavour. And I want to show you how to do it. It couldn't be simpler. You just take a mushroom and you just place it straight in there like that. I'm just going to kind of scald them and kind of char them. And it's a completely different flavour from the mushroom. It's really nice. Look, look, look. It's almost like kind of semi-dried mushrooms. And of course, dried mushrooms are kind of like, they've got that kind of beef stock, kind of savoury flavour. So as soon as they're charred, we're going to drop them into here.
Charring your mushrooms like this is such a quick way to inject your pie with bucket loads of flavour.
And then we just put the others in. Okay, so the herbal choice, I'm going to use thyme. Absolutely delicious with chicken and mushrooms. So I'm going to take a nice little wodge, about so much, right? And I'm going to just steal this for later. So just pick this lovely herb off of the stalk and we'll just tear them in. The rest of those mushrooms are good to go. Delicious. Now, I just want about 150 mils of water and a little dribble of red wine vinegar.
Now for the next ridiculously useful time saver, shop-bought puff pastry.
So a nice little tip to roll it out is just use a little greaseproof paper. It doesn't stick and it's really, really easy. I want to just roll it out to the size of that frying pan. Round about 1/2 centimetre thick. Don't worry if it's not perfectly round, it doesn't matter, because you're going to absolutely tuck it right in there and it's going to be beautiful. So we're going to take our pastry, we're going to lay this straight on top, tuck it around the edges, just like that, and then get that last little bit of thyme and just use this to brush a little oil around the pastry. And can you see how the steam is coming through this pastry? Just take this thyme, and then I'm going to put it right in the middle, and that will relieve some of the steam. Then that's going in an oven at 220 degrees Celsius, which is 425 Fahrenheit. Whack it in the bottom of the oven, close the door, 15 minutes, it will be done really, really quickly.
My pie in the pan is quick and saves on messing around with loads of different pots and pans.
Look at that. Come on! I don't know what it is about a pie, just love a pie. Very simply divide it up and just get in there. And just give it out. Time to have a little go at our pie. It's stodgy, it's crunchy, and it's so simple. So, the flavour from the mushrooms is incredible, but it is a very simple, super delicious little pie. And the puff pastry's a great, great tip. Beautiful.
A glorious comfort food classic with a quick and easy twist for the perfect crispy crust. At the other end of the pier, I'm kicking off today's menu with my version of a takeaway favourite.
It's time for something truly scrumptious. Beautiful chicken katsu curry with a wonderful homemade curry sauce, coconut rice, a little pickle. Weekend dishes do not get more delicious than this. So it all starts here with the chicken breasts. Now, a chicken breast is fat on one side and skinny on the other. Now, we can fix that by putting some greaseproof paper on top, and by using your hand, we can smash the fat end. It will tenderize it, it will flatten it out and make it cook more evenly. Once you've done that, we're going to make the most delicious marinade. Very simple. Now, I'm using buttermilk. 250 mils goes in. It's going to give you a beautiful creaminess, acidity. To this, I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic, and I want to crush it straight in. We're going to add curry powder, 2 teaspoons. So mix this up. So the breasts are now going to go straight into that bowl, and we'll just give it a little mix around. If you leave that for about 2 hours, amazing. If you leave it overnight, oh my Lord, different level. Now, Time for the curry sauce. It's full of flavour. It's going to taste a million miles better than anything you've got from a takeaway. So look, in a pan, we'll go in with some oil. We're going to add some onion, a carrot, a nice thumb-sized piece of ginger, 2 cloves of garlic. So get the onion chopped up as fine as you can. Finely slice the garlic, so nice, fragrant beginnings. And then the ginger. Fresh ginger is really going to lift this dish.
Then roughly dice the carrot and finely chop a bunch of fresh coriander stalks, keeping the leaves for later.
Look at those colours. And to this right now, I'm going to add spice. So first up, curry powder, 1 teaspoon. Then garam masala, 1. And then the amazing turmeric goes in.
Fry over a medium-low heat for about 15 minutes until the veg starts to caramelise.
So look guys, we've got colour happening here, and it's that commitment to the colour that's going to give you flavour. So a couple of dessert spoons of plain flour goes in. So the flour acts as a thickening agent, and a nice big heaped teaspoon of mango chutney to get that balance of spice and sweetness. And now we're going to add some water. So just simply boil and simmer this to the consistency that you like. If, however, you wanted to pimp it up with a little bit more spice, you can absolutely take some fresh chili and just finely slice a little bit. And that, my friends, is your next go-to easy curry sauce. Absolutely delicious. Oh, right, this comes off the heat. The next bit is perfect, fluffy coconut rice.
So into the pan with a mug of basmati rice and 2 mugs of boiling water.
And then add 2 tablespoons of coconut cream. This is going to give you incredible flavour. And then all I want to do is season that with a good pinch of salt, and you can add just a half a lemon in the top.
Leave the rice to simmer away for 10 minutes or until the water has evaporated. And it's time to make a quick pickle. So finely slice a red onion, carrot and some chilies, then squeeze the juice of a lemon, season and mix together.
Because there's a lot of lemon juice in there, it will start to pickle the onions, the carrot and the chili. And then what I do is just grab the coriander leaves and just tear it on top.
Pickle done, and we can get on with preparing the chicken.
Let me show you how easy it is to breadcrumb. Just take your chicken like this and place it in panko breadcrumbs, and then apply some weight. The buttermilk will act like glue and we'll get an amazing coating. You want to add about ½ centimetre of oil. Get that nice and hot. When it starts to shimmer, we're going to go in with the chicken. You want it on a kind of medium-high temperature, about 4 minutes on each side until golden and crisp. Now, let's turn it. Look at that. Proper crispy. Oh, yes. We're good to go. Put the rice on the plate. I'm going to get my chicken and just slice it up. But you've got that lovely crispy chicken. Pearly white, crispy outside, but still juicy. Happy days. Look at that. I like to get a bit of that curry sauce and put it over the rice and the chicken, and then get that amazing pickle. That is a little thing of joy. Only thing left to do, eat it. That, my friends, is a treat of a dish. So many flavors, so many textures. It's so crunchy, so comforting. And I reckon everyone in the cafe is just gonna savor the moment. I have got the most incredible crowd pleaser of a dish. This is Sicilian inspired. Beautiful chicken thighs wrapped in smoky pancetta, prosciutto, stuffed with the most amazing pesto cum salsa verde. And we cook it above the most delicious potatoes with tomatoes. And it all starts here with some lovely sliced potatoes. 1.5 kilos of peeled and sliced about 1 centimetre thick. About 5 or 6 minutes of parboiling, and then the next job is to peel some tomatoes. What I want to do is just simply prick it with the tip of a knife And we're going to pop it in the water for the last 45 seconds of the parboiling of the potatoes. About 250 grams goes in. That'll take the skin off of the outside of the tomatoes, and then we can take the tomatoes out first. By removing the skin, it allows the tomato to take on flavour, but also the juices to come out, and then we can drain the potatoes. So at this stage in the game, I literally just squeeze the tomatoes through my hand and the skin will just easily come off. We want to give it a basic seasoning here with salt and pepper and a nice kiss of olive oil. So the potatoes now go in, but you can see already that these potatoes are going to suck up the flavour of the tomatoes. We're going to whack it in the oven. The oven is at 200 degrees Celsius. In it goes. So we're going to make a paste. Think pesto, think salsa verde. So it starts here with really Sicilian-inspired flavours. So grab 6 garlic cloves, 6 anchovy fillets, 60 grams of blanched almonds, and give them a good old pounding. There's something about bashing things up that just completely commands more flavour. Roughly chop a big bunch of parsley and mint and go in with a heaped tablespoon of capers. We're going to get some wet stuff in. So the oil from the anchovies is incredibly tasty. Don't waste that. And then the secret ingredient, balsamic. This sweetness and this sourness works with those incredible ingredients. And I'm just going to pile that stuffing on top. All I do now is just rub it all over the chicken. And now for the really fun bit, wrapping up the chicken with 2 different types of cured meat. I'm going to take 8 pieces of pancetta and just lay it at a slight angle. And then on top of the pancetta, prosciutto. The reason I'm using 2 cured meats is because the chicken thigh that's had the fat removed, it could potentially go dry. So we can solve that problem by adding back the fat. This is going to give you flavour like you can't believe. We now have like a landing strip for these beautiful chicken thighs and the amazing stuffing. For me, what I love about this is there's people that buy chicken thighs all the time, but to have a new little trick is brilliant. Now, take that little bit of prosciutto and pancetta and roll it up. Think of it like a sleeping bag for these beautiful chicken thighs. Absolutely beautiful. And you can just plump it and tuck it into shape. So in we go with a skewer and just, it'll go all the way through. That is what you end up with. Now let me just wash my hands a second and I'm gonna go and get my potatoes and tomatoes. These spuds have only had like 10 minutes. What I wanna do, and the reason I like the skewers, is I can place the chicken over. And as those chicken thighs and the pancetta and the prosciutto gets crispy, it's gonna rain down on those potatoes to make them the best potatoes you've ever had. So back in the oven now, still at 200. Well, the chicken has had 45 minutes. This little hut smells heavenly. I've even got myself a little drink. So here we go. Come on, look at that. That is a beautiful chicken dish. Look at the way that the fat and the juices have made you the most incredible potatoes. So guys, get yourself a nice carving knife and just gently rock down the middle of the skewer to reveal this. Come on. Look at the rolls and the folds, the crispy bits and the stuffing. If you look at the potatoes here, can you see how they're kind of roasted, but kind of baked, but kind of crispy? I love it. It's confused, just like me, but I don't care. In there we go. These will be like tomatoes you've never had before. And then when it comes to our good old friend, Mr. Chicken, just get it on there. How nice is that? I personally just love it with a green salad, lemony rocket from a height. And what you can do is take that last little bit of balsamic. Oh, yes. Happy birthday. And it's not even my birthday. Bit of chicken, bit of prosciutto. Oh, yeah. You've got the savouriness, the fragrance, the ironiness of the mint and the parsley, the anchovies, the garlic, the capers. Nice little glass of white wine. We are in Italy. Sort of. This is going to be an epic weekend feast if you do it properly, with love and care and attention.
Gourmet fast food is bang on trend, and this artisan version is delicious. This isn't about bargain buckets, my friends. This is about soul food.
Comes in 3 parts, ladies and gents. We've got the brining, we've got buttermilking and flouring. It's going to be incredible. So, part 1, love, care and attention, starts with a brine. What's it going to do? It's going to flavour the meat, it's going to hydrate the meat, so you're going to get a juicy poultry bird. It's really, really clever.
To make the flavoured brine, use a handful of black peppercorns, a few sprigs of thyme, 4 fresh bay leaves, and 4 garlic cloves.
We're going to add 100 grams of salt. You're not going to eat all of that, so don't start getting all worried about, you know, health and stuff like that. This is a brine. And 100 grams of brown sugar. Quite like the brown sugar, it's got a more complex flavour. It's obviously less refined.
Finish with 400 mils of water. Give it all a stir and bring it to the boil. Then take it off the heat.
Add another 400 millilitres of water in there. Let this fully cool down, and then I'm going to submerge this meat into there. It's going to kind of be the ultimate chicken.
We want a sweet, sticky meat for this finger-licking good feast, so 4 free-range chicken drumsticks and 4 thighs. Keep the skin on and score right down to the bone.
This, of course, will let flavour in. It will also let the flour stick to more surface area, and that means more crispy bits. So in with the thighs and in with the drumsticks. I think that you know this is going to be good. So just cover that with some greaseproof paper or cling film it. Whack it in the fridge, and I put it in there overnight, 12 hours minimum, and that's the beginning of the incredible flavour process. See you in 12. Now, if you touch the chicken, it feels slightly firmer, but also it has grown in volume, it's hydrated, it's probably gained about 10%.
Give it a little shake and straight into a Ziploc bag. Then, guys, you're ready for stage 2.
Buttermilk, you can get it in all the supermarkets. It's kind of like a liquid yogurt. And in marinades, it's absolutely spectacular. Why? Because the acidity in it just has this incredible way of breaking down sort of tough meat. And it's going to help to flavour and tenderise this chicken. So I'm going to squeeze the air out of the bag, and there we go. That can get wrapped up, and we put that in the fridge for another 8 hours. And you might be thinking, is it worth it while we do it? Of course, just get a bit of chicken. Just put it in flour and fry it. It won't taste anything like this. You know, you can always cheat, but fantastic feasts at the weekend are about preparing for it. So, now it's the exciting bit. This is the kind of secret spice bit that they say, you know, so many secret blended spices and stuff like that. It's not that secret, I'll give it to you.
Start with 200 grams of plain flour. Then it's just 1 teaspoon each of baking powder, smoked paprika, cayenne, and onion and garlic powder. Season with salt and pepper and give it a good old mix. Then go in with the chicken.
Just get your fingers in and have a good old toss around.
You've given this chicken some serious TLC. Now it's time to fry. Half fill a sturdy pan with sunflower oil and heat to 180 degrees Celsius.
So I'm going to do like a 2-tone cooking. Colour it up and get it crispy in the oil. As soon as it looks nice and golden and gorgeous, after about 5 minutes, put it in the tray. Do the same with the thighs, and that way we can then put it in the oven for about half an hour until the meat comes away from the bone, and it will be crisp and gorgeous. Drumsticks first, slowly put them in. It's looking very, very beautiful already.
For one final aromatic flavour hit, grab a few sprigs of thyme, dip in some excess oil in the tray, and then sprinkle it all over the chicken.
So I'm going to whack this in the oven now at 170 degrees Celsius. Next up, I'm going to show you the most incredible red cabbage pickle kind of salad that goes with it and is amazing.
Start by toasting a big handful of fennel seeds in a hot pan. In a separate bowl, go in with 100 millilitres of red wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of sugar, a pinch of salt, and finally, those toasted fennel seeds. This is going to be an incredible base for the cabbage.
With the red cabbage, we just want to basically finely slice it.
Then it's straight into the pickling vinegar and really give it a good old mix up. Go on, get your hands in there.
When you're tossing it up, feel free to sort of scrunch it a little bit. Let's have a taste. So good.
Time to bring all this southern goodness together.
Pickle first. Get your incredible crispy chicken. Look at that. I know, I'm so excited. For me personally, what I love about this and the whole kind of idea of this is you take something junk and you apply the old values. Love, care, attention, the brining, the marinating, the flour with the secret blend or not so secret blend. And we create a mountain of delicious, loved food.
This is finger-licking chicken like you've never tasted before. Super crispy on the outside, ultra juicy and tender on the inside. And to set it off perfectly, I'm serving it with baked sweet potatoes, peppery watercress, wedges of lemon, and of course, my crunchy, vibrant, fresh pickle. This is the most fantastically indulgent weekend feast that everyone will love.
Purple, orange, and that golden brown crunch. Let's take a bit of that beautiful chicken, a little squeeze of lemon juice. Oh my God. It's just tender, crispy outside. And look, it's fried, so it is rich. But then when you bang that in your gob, it's so delicious. For me, this is stuff that makes me really, really happy, guaranteed. I love it, and I hope everyone at the cafe loves it as much as I do. And now it's time for something truly delicious. We're gonna roast the chicken, but we're gonna take it to a whole different place. Inspired by Korea, we're gonna make an amazing kimchi marinade. And I'm gonna stuff it in these beautiful little fluffy coconut buns. With a slaw, with a sauce, in your mouth. Come on! We can do this, you're gonna love it. So, we're gonna start off with the marinade sauce. It starts here with the kimchi. Kimchi is fermented cabbage. If you go around supermarkets, you're gonna find it. Amazing flavor. So in a liquidizer, we're gonna add 250 grams of kimchi. And then we've got another new ingredient that you can find in more and more supermarkets, and definitely Asian supermarkets. This is called gochujang, and it's made out of sweet peppers, glutinous rice, soya beans, chilies. It's like the backbone to so many Korean dishes. 2 tablespoons of that is enough. Then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of soy sauce and some rice wine vinegar.
Then to add a little bit of crunch, gently toast up some sesame seeds.
2 tablespoons of these and put them into the sauce. Then I'm gonna save back the rest of these to scatter onto our chicken later. Let's do a little whizzing up. Oh! What I love about this is it's those ingredients whiz up and already we're in a place of deliciousness. This sauce here is gonna have 3 roles. The first role is to go on our chicken as a marinade. So I'll put about 1/4 of that in there. And then we wanna create the glaze and the sauce. And to kind of make that transition, I'm just gonna add, 2 or 3 tablespoons of honey. That will give a nice sweetness. So just another quick little whiz.
So pour half in a bowl for your dipping sauce and keep the rest for your glaze.
So with a marinade, rub it around the bird, under, over, get right in the wings, get right in the legs, rub it all the way around. Now, we're gonna roast this chicken for 1 hour and 20 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, and it's gonna be gorgeous. Right, so now we're gonna do the buns, steamed buns. They're light, they're fluffy. I'm using this tin as my measure. 1 tin of coconut milk to 2 heaped tins of self-raising flour. It works every single time. So move it around with a fork as much as you can until it gets too hard, and then we can use our hands and just knead it up. And that flavor of just very gentle coconut is sublime. What I'm gonna do now is make about 10 to 12 little buns. get your hand like a little cage, put the palm of your hand down quite hard, and then as you pull your hand up, you make a little tight ball like that. Now get your dough and roll it out roughly around that big, but what we want to do is steam it like that. So it's like a little parcel that we can open out. Now, we don't want it to stick, so I'm going to take a little bit of greaseproof paper and a little sesame oil, and I'm just going to take a little dab on my finger and then put our beautiful steam bun like that. The recipe's so simple that we can just spend a bit of love and care making these edible little kind of transport units that are going to go in your mouth. Lovely.
Then after an hour and 20 minutes,
have a little look at my friend here. It looks like a very gnarly, rustic, spiced up chicken. That leftover sauce that we had, remember we put the honey in there? That can now become like a glaze. So we can stick things to it, like the sesame seeds. And I'm gonna put it back in the oven, not to cook, the oven's now off, but that heat will just kind of tighten up that glaze, and that gives us like 10 minutes to steam up our buns and make our little slaw. This is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna place these buns 6 at a time in a layer of these steamers. The bread's gonna like rehydrate, it's gonna puff up. Put some water in a pan, get that boiling, and this goes on top. It literally takes 10 minutes to steam. Happy days.
so onto the slaw.
I've got some bok choy here, I've got some Chinese cabbage, some carrot, and I've got some spring onions, and I've got some chili.
Add the zest and juice of 2 limes and a teaspoon of sesame oil.
Now the last ingredient, chili flakes, and these are the sweet chilies that go in that lovely chili paste that we've used. They're not hot, they're actually quite sweet and very delicious. And then really finely slice these ingredients. Try and get it thin, not chunky. So just dress this up, almost like shake it in your hands. Let's bring the little party together. Out with the chicken, come on! I mean, look at that. It looks amazing. Imagine putting that on a dinner table. Come on, guys, get around. Dips, sauces, little bit of slaw. Let's have a look at the buns. Yeah! Right, enough talking. Let's eat. Let me show you how to make one of these buns. This is what it's all about. And I want to hit that with just a little bit of our sauce. Bundle it with a nice wodge of this slaw. So get chunks of the chicken. It's juicy and it's going to be messy. And look at that, my friend. A beautiful stuffed steam bun just for you. Right. Soft, it's steamy. The chicken's amazing. The flavor, the tang, the spice, the long flavors. I'm tasting many, many things here. And I think everyone in the cafe is really gonna get stuck in. It's the weekend and I want to show you a lovely feasting dish that we just love at home, poached chicken with broth that is absolutely to die for. Noodles, dumplings, supercharging it with loads of veggies. It's a brilliant sharing dish that's not only comforting, but super healthy as well. So first up, we start with this. A nice 2 kilo organic chicken into some cold water. And then I want to flavour this water up using juniper berries. This is the flavour of gin. Just by crushing them in your fingers, you can get that into the water, add a little salt, and then next, herbs. Just pick any nice woody herbs you can get your hands on. Rosemary, thyme, grab it in a nice little bunch like this, and I'm gonna poach that gently for an hour and a half, giving you loads of time to sit back, relax, and enjoy the weekend. So we've had an hour and a half, and I just want to show you what's going on in the pan here. The natural fat comes to one side. So what we can do is get some of that lovely fat and keep it, because we're going to make the most amazing dumplings. And why make it from butter or oil when you can make it from chicken fat? Delicious. While that chicken's just kind of ticking away, what I can do is get some veggies in there. So celery, we've got these lovely leaves that we'll save for later. Cut that in half and then into quarters. The carrots we can half. Onion into 8ths. And then last but not least, fennel. It's got an aniseed flavour when it's raw, but when you cook it, it's just a really fragrant, delicious, sweet vegetable. So again, take this inner herby part here And that can go alongside our celery leaves. So these herbs will be brilliant, sprinkled on the hot broth at the very end. So the fennel into eighths. So the perfect time to cook these veggies is about half an hour. We're going to get the flavour from all the veggies kind of cooking into the chicken and vice versa. So next up, we're going to make the most beautiful little dumplings. So it starts with 120 grams of matzo meal. You can get it in all the supermarkets. Add 4 eggs to that. And this makes the most fantastically light and delicate dumpling that sucks up the flavour from the chicken broth. And that is what it's about. Season up with salt and pepper. And then this fat that we've skimmed off the chicken. We're going to absolutely utilise as much of that flavour as possible. Give it a good little mix up. Get a little matzo meal on my board here, like that. So roll the little dumplings with slightly wet hands and you'll get a lovely little ball, just like that. And as they sit on the little extra dust, it'll absorb it and almost create like an outside coating. Rolling, rolling, rolling. That is the dumplings done. But I do want something to spice up my life, right? So I want to show you how to make homemade mustard and some homemade horseradish sauce. So the homemade mustard is really simple. You just get it dried in a little tin like this, season it up with some salt. And then I think the important thing is that we use really nice vinegar. You know, when you go shopping, have a little look. There'll be cider vinegar, you know, white wine vinegar, and you really do get what you pay for. And we just kind of keep mixing it. Get the consistency that you want. It's delicious. Really, really good. So next, horseradish sauce. If you ever get the opportunity to buy a chunk of horseradish, please go for it. Just peel the outside like that, then get a fine grater and just have a little grate up, and then add it to either yogurt or creme fraiche. This is going to be a horseradish sauce with attitude. Now I want a bit of acidity there to sort of balance it, and I'm going to use a lemon. Just a little bit of sourness is going to be amazing. So look, in no time at all, we've made 2 beautiful sauces. Of course, you could just open a jar. Of course you can, and it's delicious, but not that delicious. Let's move the chicken over here. Look at that. Use a little sieve and just pour some of this stock over these dumplings. And by now, this broth is tasting incredible. Put these back on the heat now and get that chicken stock boiling, reducing, getting more intense. And then I want to just cook that for about 5 minutes. And what's nice is as they're boiling, they're sort of spinning around, swelling up, sucking up that chicken stock. And we can add to that. We can add kind of vibrance. So we can go in of seasonal peas, broad beans, but even in the winter, frozen peas are amazing. Also, noodles. It's just the sort of thing I love in a bowl to kind of slurp on. So in with the noodles for another 5 minutes and we're ready to go. So while that cooks, I want to show you how to pull this chicken. If I just get the other side of the ladle, pick the chicken up like that, and then just get it onto this platter. And then on the platter, let's move the veggies in. Look at that. What I want to do now is break up this chicken so I can literally just pull all this off the bone. The cooking's done all the hard work for you and it's very, very tender now. Okay, so in the pan here, just the colour, it's just, you know that that's going to be beautiful. And we can just top up. So a bit more on the noodles, yeah, we'll take it. Go over to the platter and be quite generous because it's all about the broth. Joyful, nice extra virgin olive oil. Just drizzle that over the top. And then get those herbs, the little bits of fennel and the little bits of celery leaf, just pick those over the top. So all you have to do now is get a load in a bowl, get your matzo balls, and then let's get some chicken and veggies. Big old chunk of breast. Get a lovely carrot. Just top that up with some of that beautiful broth. And then in my bowl, a nice little hit of that mustard and horseradish. This is literally one of my favorite things to eat. Delicious. The broth is intense. It's food that makes you feel good. The chicken is so tender, and with the noodles and the dumplings, it's just amazing.
First, my stupidly simple 1-pan tikka chicken. the fastest roast there is.
Sometimes you just need a dish that's so quick to prep, and then you can just bang it in the oven while you get on with other stuff, and then fill the house up with the most gorgeous, gorgeous smells.
You'll need free-range chicken, tikka paste, potatoes, fresh coriander, and cauliflower.
It's very simple. We're going to hack up the spuds to 3-centimetre chunks. I'm going to leave the skin on, so they'll be really crispy on the outside and super fluffy on the inside. Literally just hack them up. Throw them into a tray. No parboiling, no other pans required. And it's kind of funny, isn't it, that concept of simple. You know, is it coming in and sort of like pounding out a dish in 20 minutes? Or is it just bang a few things together in minutes and let the oven do the work? And I think, you know, you need both, right? Depending on what you want to cook. But I love this kind of thing on a Friday because I've always got stuff to do, you know, but you can have that lovely hour and 20 minutes while you just get on with stuff. So spuds are in.
This really is quick and easy cooking. In well under 10 minutes, you can have a whole meal prepped and in the oven.
Then the collie. Collie's great, and certainly when it's spiced with Indian spices. So I'm just going to take the florets off, just break them up into potato-sized pieces. That's the bit we normally use, but we're also going to celebrate the leaves and the stalk. We're just going to chop up, similar-ish size to the potatoes, and get it in there. And the stalk. Don't waste anything, it's all good. So, in we go.
Next up, coriander. To ramp up the flavour, use stalks and all.
Slice all the way up there until you run out of stalks, like right now, and you end up with these beautiful leaves. Just put the leaves in a little bowl of cold water. If you can put ice in there, even better. But that will keep them really fresh until you sprinkle it over when this is finished. Beautiful. These go over here. Pretty much this is done now.
To finish the veg, just season with olive oil, red wine vinegar, salt and pepper.
So let's get our chicken like that. And let's get our tikka paste. Now, this is not a sauce, this is a paste, okay? And these Indian spice pastes are brilliant. So, you know, this has got about 11 ingredients in it, and it's all done for you. So 2 heaped tablespoons of tikka paste. But of course, you could use any paste you like. You can like mix it up. If you've got a particular curry like Rogan Josh or, you know, korma, use that. It's all good.
Making your own curry paste is a joy. But if you're pushed for time, the ready-made stuff delivers on flavour fast.
Then hands, chicken, rub up, massage in all the cracks. And just the residual paste on your hand is enough to kiss the spuds and the cauliflower. It's that simple. It is done. Let's have a hand wash. I've got my oven preheated, 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. And here goes the magic little tip. I'm going to put in the tray underneath and then put the chicken directly over the top. So it's going to rain spiced chicken juice all over the potatoes and collie. It's going to be amazing.
With this nifty method, the chicken juices create an instant, intense, spicy sauce. So you won't need to bother making a time-consuming gravy.
OK, let's have a little look. It's so exciting. OK, just over an hour this has had, and it's such a great, great technique. Come on, let's pull it out. So here she is. Get your little scraper, and there'll be crispy bits. And if you think about it, all the kind of goodness that would have gone into making a traditional gravy has now rained on your cauliflower and your potatoes. I've got the coriander that's in the cold water. You know, it's the twist on the classic roast chicken. It's so beautiful. Just pull it off the bone. And also notice, it's still full of juice. See that juice? Beautiful.
With this cracking roast, you'll have all of the flavour with none of the fuss.
Let's get in there. Let's have a little tuck in. The skin is so crisp and delicious. So good. Those spices, really nice contrast. And the potatoes and the collie is kind of the best bit. It's absolutely delicious.
prepped in well under 10 minutes. Cooked in one pan, my time-saving chicken tikkas, the fastest roast around. I want to show you the tastiest and easiest way to ramp up your roast. Maximum flavour, minimum effort, you're going to love this. Made with a whole free-range chicken, mixed coloured peppers, red onions, harissa, and fresh mint. 5 ingredients working super hard. First up, let's get the flavour going. Harissa. It smells so good, and you might not have used this before. You'll use it a lot, okay? It's made with a lot of love and care. It's from North Africa. It's the pepper family, but dried. Oil, sometimes garlic and spices. This one's got rose petals in it. It's an amazing condiment. One ingredient that's working triply hard, okay? But most importantly, it's best friends with onions, peppers, and the mint and the chicken. So let's do this. First up, 4 big, bold teaspoons of our harissa here, right in the middle of our tray. We're just going to use one tray, so hardly any washing up, guys. Right, it's 1 hour in the oven to cook it, but it takes 4 minutes to put together. It's super easy. Add a splash of olive oil, red wine vinegar, and season. Absolutely beautiful. That is where the flavour is at. And to add to that, we're going to go peppers. Now, the way I prep these is just get your thumb and push it in like that, then rip it open. That's the easiest way to do it. And then simply tear it. I don't want to chop it. I don't want it to be chefy. I want it to be loose and rustic. And that whole thing about cooking with colour, I believe in it. I truly, like, nutritionally, if your food isn't colourful, it's not going to be giving you all the goodness that you need. Just tear it up. It couldn't be simpler. And then we're on to the red onion. Just take the skin off and quarter it. And once you've quartered it, just kind of unpluck it like little petals. For me, this recipe is a giver. It's not about being a cook or a chef. It's not technical. It's the combination working hard for you. Sometimes you want to just 4 minutes, love, care, combo, oven. You got 50 minutes just to kind of just break it down a little bit, get a few things done, chill, sit down, have a cup of tea, whatever. So look, everything's done here. I want to show you a little hack, right? How to speed up cooking a chicken. I want to split it, almost open it out like a book. So have a look at this. I'm just going to get a knife, nice and steady, don't put too much weight on it, and just cut down the back. It's so easy. 1 cut. Your butcher would do it for you, of course. And then, once you've done that, you can open it out like a book. And what you get is a kind of wider surface area, okay? Crispier skin, okay? It's going to cook quicker. So bonus, looking tidy. Then just get a knife and just run it across the thigh down to the bone. That'll help it to cook quicker, also take on flavour, all those lovely flavours, and it will look really cool as well. Mix it up. It smells incredible. Get all that harissa and vinegar and oil over everything, and then, come on, you know that makes sense. Get it on the chicken. Get it over the breasts, get it on the legs, get it in the little cuts, and then get your chicken and pop it on your veg trivet. And the whole thing about trivets is the chicken cooks into the veg steams up into the chicken. Genius. And then I'll show you what to do after I've done a bit of washing up. Harissa gives this foolproof roast an instant hit of flavour. Effortless cooking at its best.
So 4 or 5 minutes prep, in the oven for 50, at 180 degrees Celsius, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, all done. Happy days.
An epic 1-pan wonder, and the quickest roast you'll ever make, with plenty of time to put your feet up.
And now, look at that, come on. Oh, gnarly, caught, little charred bits, juicy. It's all about the juice. Look at that, the smell is incredible. Right, let's serve up. You can absolutely serve it like that in the middle of the table. Easy, less washing up. If you want to be a little bit more dramatic, I do love a board. You know I love a board. So let's get this gorgeous chicken. Look at that. Come on. And then with these lovely peppers. Look at the colours. And what's genius about this is by splitting the chicken and make it cook kind of in an hour, that's the perfect time to make the perfect pepper and onion. Its most optimal sweetness. And the last ingredient, number 5, is mint. So I've just dressed this with a little vinegar and oil, put half the mint in here now, and give it a nice little toss. And then those last couple of mint leaves just on top. Harissa. Go out and get some and rub it on something. It's gonna be good. at the table, get yourself a chopper, and you can just hack up a nice little portion. For me, I just think this is a great dish. It's 4 or 5 minutes. The oven does all the hard work. Even if you're a rubbish cook, you can have that. You can sit down, eat like a king, and enjoy it with your friends and family. That's what it's all about. Oh my Lord. Look how juicy that is, guys. Beautiful. Everyone's gonna dive in for this. And look, my friends, that's a dish with attitude. I think you can even partly taste that through the telly. It's a gnarly, beautiful, colourful dish. What are you waiting for? Time to eat. I want a bit of that thigh meat. Go on, off the bone. Where I sort of scored that, the flavour gets in there. Mmm. Wow. Mmm. That's like one of the easiest, tastiest things ever. This is a dish that you'll keep doing time and time again. 5 ingredients, working really, really hard.
A quick to prep, brilliantly colourful family supper that'll give you big results in little time.